Happy Monday, everyone. Hope you're having a great morning and had an awesome weekend. We wanted to talk about today, and before we get to that, by the way, if you can hear us.
I knew you were going to do it.
Right? If you can hear us, type L in the comments down below. If you're watching the replay, type R. And that way we know that you can hear us loud and clear. So we wanted to talk about something that we're seeing a little bit of a trend in right now with our home buyers.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, we're seeing a little bit of fear coming into them where and not the normal fear, right? You know, there's normal fear of should I buy this home? Like the buyer's remorse starts kicking in before
right.
they
Is this a good investment?
Yeah.
Am I making the right decision? We're not seeing that fear. And I'm not seeing this fear from people either who are maybe more in a questionable financial position as far as credit's not as high or secure, or they don't have all the funds themselves for down payment. I'm even seeing this fear from people who are in a phenomenal position to purchase with funds for down payment. I mean, to even have 20% or more down on a property, who have a great credit score, and are financially, have had a job for a while, that's stable. So we're seeing this for people even in those positions as well, which is a little abnormal to what we've seen over the past few years, I would say.
Right. And so you've been seeing, this trend in these buyers where it's like, all right, they're wanting to pull back. They're going through the process,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they're going and doing everything. They're going and getting pre-approved, right? They've either worked on their credit, they've got great credit, they've saved up a great down payment.
Yep. We're looking at homes, they're pre-approved to the point where we're doing enough research and data to the point where we're this close to putting in an offer. And then we pull back. And so I'm seeing it for a few different reasons. One of those is a little bit the fear of commitment. And what I don't think people realize is that unless you're living with a family or a friend and someone's just kind of helping you out, you always have a housing payment, whether that is in a lease or if that is in a mortgage. And I think that there's this mindset that if something happens, people like to think worst case scenario. People are unsure of what's happening, what's coming up. But if something happens and I lose my job or something in my financials change for whatever reason, that I can actually get out of a lease quicker or easier. It's a little bit more nimble. And I actually think that that's a big myth, because your landlord is typically going to be a lot less forgiving than your mortgage company in a situation like this.
Right. So if you haven't made a payment on your rental or your apartment or the house that you're renting, see how long you can go before they start the eviction process, right?
Most people, you have like a 3-day grace period from when your rent's due to when it can be paid before they can go ahead and actually give you that notice and try and evict you.
Right. So let's talk about setting and understanding those expectations, right? To see if we can help. Again, there's always going to be that fear,
right?
Because
it is a commitment.
It's the unknown, right?
Right.
We're afraid of, what if this house is a money pit? What if we have bad neighbors? What if the taxes go up? What if what happens if I lose my job, right? We always have those types of fears.
Right.
But, you have someone who we're seeing a lot more people have a good credit scores, good down payment, and they're still pulling back.
So setting those expectations is important. First of all, this is why you need to align yourself and partner with a great realtor with great experience and knowledge. First of all, those taxes, that is a really important one, because right now we're giving fixed interest rates, but that is the thing in your payment, or the part of your payment every year that is going to change based off the market. So if those property values go up, your property taxes are going to go up, and you're going to need to be prepared for that and make sure that you're putting enough aside in your escrow account every single month, or however you choose to pay for your property taxes. So you need an agent who can help guide you through that. And then also just to even have the conversation that if you're someone who lives a little bit more paycheck to paycheck, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, a lot of people in the United States do that. Obviously, that payment, then, if we can know that that's a variable that can go up, we want to make sure to not start you at where you would be maxed out at.
Right.
And that's really crucial.
And we see that, unfortunately, a lot with buyers that go and buy a new construction without an agent involved. Unfortunately, we see that a lot where that homeowner, that new buyer who's now a homeowner who reaches out to us 12 to 24 months later, and they're falling behind on their not their payment, but their taxes. and it's crushing them because they're in the hole every month.
Yeah, absolutely. We've touched on that before. Just to clarify what he means by that is initially when you were quoted your payment, it was probably off the unimproved value since the home's brand new, and the year before it was just land. So now that you've got the land and the home on it, it's the value for everything, the improved value, all encompassing, which is substantially higher. So it could have been taxes based off $50,000 and now it's taxes based off $350,000. That's huge to someone monthly, which is why short sales, which is where people are falling behind and can't pay their mortgage, the number one spot they're coming from right now is from new construction. So make sure you're working with a great lender and make sure you have an agent, because it does not cost you anything to work with an agent on new construction, and you're not going to get a better deal. Now, also another fear, I think, when it comes to buying is if something does happen, what do I do if I were to lose my job? The good thing is there are options, and this is why I want to be your realtor for life. One of those being, if something financially happens to you, we can help you rent your property out to cover that mortgage and then get you into another rental that is more in your price range now, more affordable now. And then within 12 months, if you're back in a better financial position, you can move back in. And if not, you can keep that property leased, but you don't just have to get behind on payments and have possibly be foreclosed on or go through the process of a short sale. Something else, though, is setting up those expectations. Like if you've got the idea for a certain monthly payment based off however much you want to put down, it's working with an expert who's going to help you best utilize those funds, because it can get to a point of diminishing returns that once you have X amount down, just putting more and more money down on the property is so minimally impactful to your payment that there are other strategies that we can use. One of those being that we take a portion of the money if you're liquid enough, or ideally we get maybe a credit from the sellers to help you buy down an interest rate. Something we use a little bit more when rates were closer to 5%. Right now rates are phenomenal, but can still be used and be a lot more impactful with less money than just either going and negotiating off the price or putting more money down on the property. But then sometimes it's
which
also...
is an interest rate buy down, by the way. You didn't go into that all the way.
Oh.
Yeah, interest rate buy down.
I called it that?
I think you skipped over it. I think you were thinking it. You were thinking it and skipped over it. But one thing I do want to interject on that. So if you have that 20% down, a lot of times we see buyers wanting to put that 20% down to get rid of the PMI payment. Right. And when you calculate it, again, it's huge to have a good lender and an agent, a real estate agent that actually understands this and can break it down to where, a lot of times if you go look at your PMI costs, your monthly PMI costs versus how much you're going to have to put down in order to get rid of that, it may make sense. And more often than not, it makes sense to keep that cash and only put down 5%, 10%, whatever.
We have people who put down as little as 3%.
3%, right? And holding that cash back. And we advise to get with a financial advisor. We work with some great advisors, and to invest that money into something that's going to have a return, right? Versus that's way you always have access to that. If you put 20% down just to get rid of PMI, which is going to save you, anywhere from $25 to $100 a month at most, it's typically not worth the return. And if something were to happen and you need access, you need to access money. Now that liquid money is available and you can tap that, versus if you put it all into the house, you're unable to tap into those funds.
Absolutely. And if you're trying to stay at a certain monthly payment, first of all, we highly recommend that. Look at that over what am I just pre-approved for by my lender. That's going to be crucial to you staying comfortable every month. But if you're not loving the type of home that equates to, but that's roughly what you're spending in rent every single month, then make sure, you just have to have those expectations, because at least in that position, you're building equity. And if you have the position to stay liquid, or over time, you can do some updates to make the property nicer. You got to start looking sometimes at the long-term value of, maybe this property isn't as like apartments these days. They can do granites, they can do the hardwood style floor. This is stuff that you can do over time to make it a little more aesthetically pleasing, but have that expectation or be prepared to actually pay the higher monthly payment if that is something that you value and is more important to you. So I think something that's really crucial is when you're with an agent and you want to buy and you're in this position and you kind of keep having cold feet. I never want us getting creative and going through all this to feel salesy, to feel pushy. It really is to make sure that you're exhausting all options before you decide to not purchase or wait. Because if I was a betting man, the trajectory of interest rates is only going up. Property values are pretty fair right now,
Yep.
I think we would say, compared to what they've been the past few years. So we want to help you buy when it's going to be most beneficial to you.
We're in that sweet spot right now in terms of buying, where we're not projected to have another huge run up in home appreciation prices, right? But we're not expected to dip either. So the expectation is around a 3% appreciation. So, if you get it now, with that lower interest rate, if you utilize some of the tools and techniques that we do, we're going to put you in a better winning position than if you were just to stay on the sidelines. And another thing, I want to go back to the exit strategy. We talked about renting the house out. Now, that is something that we go down. We also look at, can we sell to break you even?
Right.
Or does it make sense to sell and you pay a little bit of cash to get out? Or there are ways that you can work with lenders through loan modifications if you did fall behind on your mortgage payment, right? So you can work on a loan modification there. So there are a lot of multiple steps versus just sitting on the sidelines and not taking any action.
Well, and I'm happy you said all of that, because the thing that you need to do first and foremost is, this is why you need an agent who is like on retainer, like a lawyer would be or something. Like, we're here to truly be your agent for life in any scenario. Run these ideas and suggestions by us. You also have to be willing, if hard times do come, to get over your pride and your ego and ask for help, because the sooner we know about this, the more options we have and the better chances of getting you in a better position. It is not easy, it is uncomfortable, and it does not feel good, but there are so many solutions that we typically have. And if we are unable to help, it's typically because people just came to us too late.
100%. So if you're thinking about buying, right? So if you want to go down the buying process and see what that looks like, go ahead and reach out to us, 972-215-7653. You can go to our website, thegoodhometeam.com. If you're watching this on Facebook, Elizabeth will drop her information in the comments below. If you're watching this on YouTube, then again, go to our website, thegoodhometeam.com. You can search every property for sale there.
And we'll connect you with great lenders too, because I talk to a lot of people who think they're not approved or wouldn't be in a position, and they almost always are. So more people actually underestimate themselves than they think.
Let me ask you this question real quick. These buyers, are these first-time home buyers that you're experiencing this with, or are these people that have purchased homes before?
It is first-time home buyers who I'm seeing a lot more of the nerves with. Yeah.
So again, that goes more into the fear of the unknown, right? So
and that's where we guide you through the process, because you also mentioned, what if this home becomes a money pit? There are always things that are going to happen that we can't prepare you for, because we may not even know about it yet. But 90% of them we can. And this is why we take steps and do due diligence and have inspections and help get you warranties on your home, different things that we can do to keep you as protected as possible. That way, if this future unknown happens to you, there's a plumbing leak, something happens, we have you in the best position possible to get it taken care of with the least amount of money out of your pocket and the quickest solution.
Absolutely. We look forward to being able to interview to be the position of your real estate agent for life. So again, just reach out to us, 972-215-7653, or go to thegoodhometeam.com. We'll see you next time.